Hey, how are you doing? This is Brian Shanley. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy life to sit down and consider the contents of some of the things I'm going to say and the claims that I'm getting set to make and the position I'm getting set to put forth. And here's hoping that something is said that excites you. I hold in my hand what we call a dollar bill. It is a Federal Reserve note. George Washington's on the front, and it is made out of a cotton-based kind of paper. It is government-backed. It is legal tender. Its value is derived from nothing except a phrase called full faith and credit in the U.S. government. If inflation takes place in the culture, this can be the power to do things for your family and to purchase goods and services can and is injured fairly regularly. I am reminded of the fact that this morning I went to the local gas station to buy a soda. It costed me $2.39. And as I flashed back to when I was a child, playing basketball and riding my bike in between games to the store, that very same $2.39 soda back then was 60 cents. And so in my own lifetime, I have seen the power of this decrease quite a bit. And it's very scary because if your whole life savings, life insurance is in this, you are at tremendous risk. I'm reminded of such countries as Germany, where things fell apart and its currency was so worthless that you needed a wheelbarrow full of the currency just to buy a loaf of bread. Or in such countries as Cyprus, where there were bank holidays, where the government was regulating how much money you could take out per the month. And it was often infinitely low to where you could not possibly cover the basics of life. You were at the mercy of this bank because they didn't want too much of the cash in circulation. Well, that's when such things as societal unrest take place. So I've looked around at various models and said, hey, if this is an issue in Minnesota, the taxpayers, voters, and citizens, and their families and their children, how could I possibly do something that would protect them if the Federal Reserve note was ever in some kind of jeopardy? And lo and behold, I noticed that the state of Utah has produced an internal Utah dollar. As you can see, there's Lady Prudence on the cover as opposed to Lady Liberty, but she's dressed as a Native American in indigenous garb, and it's tremendous artwork on the back. It's the exact, like the negatives that you would drop off at the photo mat. It's the negative version of this, and inside of it is counterfeiting technology. So this is produced not on a cotton-based paper, but on a thin 1/1000th of a troy ounce sheet of 0.9999 pure gold. That is 4 nines. That's 24 karat. So whereas this can be injured based on such things as inflation, this is not harmed by inflation. This value is derived from full faith and credit in the U.S. government, but it's not backed by any precious metal. This is backed by its value, and that value is derived from the gold upon which it is printed. This can become worth zero. This will never be worth zero. So in such places as Utah and now Nevada, you can walk into your local store with this gold in your hands, and it is the standard. And you can purchase goods, services at participating businesses. And many businesses are beginning to participate to where if you walk around with this, it's not going to be as good as having this. And I look at such places as Ghana, West Africa in 2021. I couldn't get one of theirs, but it was gorgeous. They have their own currency now printed on pure gold. So Utah was the trendsetter, and other places followed suit. And I would look at I believe it was the Utah Legal Tender Act of 2011, and say, how could I get a Minnesota Goldback where we can trade a thin sheet of 0.9999 pure gold, a Minnesota dollar that is never going to be harmed by inflation, that is never going to be worth zero, that is backed at least by the precious metal upon which it is done. This would do great things. It would have gold in the hand of everyone who earned it. You know, your employer could pay you in this particular dollar or what have you. But it would be great security. And so if I had a position in Minnesota in which I could look at the model as done in Utah, as done in Nevada, and try and get something similar, this is what I would do. There would be a Minnesota state legal tender backed by gold, printed on gold, and eventually, as people began to accept it right here internally, we could have much more of a chance at growth economically, both individually and as families, as communities, and overall as a state. And while I'm on the subject, I am aware that the Federal Reserve Bank has multiple locations. One of those locations is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Geographically, that's my backyard. And I know that whomever owns the Federal Reserve Bank, which we don't know who it is, it's a mystery, the creature from Jekyll Island, your official spokespeople always say how you don't think you're subject to any power greater than yourself, any governing body or anything like that. I've got news for you, brothers. You would be in my jurisdiction, and if I was in some office, I would be both watchful and weary of everything you're doing. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, Federal Reserve Bank. But in addition to watching the Minneapolis branch like a hawk, I would be providing direct competition to your worthless little fiat note, and I would be empowering Minnesotans. What are you going to do, Federal Reserve Bank? And Minnesotans, if this excites you, as it should, picture having some gold in your hand. And I owe my grandma $5. Here's $5 on gold, Grandma. It'd be beautiful. So if I'm ever put in a position of trust in this state, I will push for this. And I think we could have it because other states have already paved the way. May God bless and keep each and every one of you, and I'll see you on the next thing I record.